right, so we're back live, and just to continue where we left off about President Obama and his executive order. If we relate the executive order to the Mayan 2012 theory, the executive order pretty much said that the government can come into your backyard and seize whatever crops or vegetables you may have for national emergencies, but the executive order doesn't define what national emergency is.
And for
Um,
me, as I finish up my cinnamon toast crunch, um, I was baffled when you told me that because I was like, how can that be? Like, remember, I don't know if you remember recalling, I told you about I got a little grain thumb this summer and I started growing a garden of my own and
Get your little horticultural.
yeah, my little horticultural, filling my earth sign and everything,
Yeah.
type flow and all that. So remember the zucchinis and all that? I've never seen zucchinis that big just from making your own manure and cultivating, getting some
Right.
soil and cultivating the land. Like you can do that type of stuff, especially in a time of a natural disaster. You know,
Right.
you may want to become a little bit more communal and get away from a lot of the capitalistic ideas. Oh, this is my garden and everything. You know.
Or not only that, but also like the health aspects, because if you grow your own fruits and vegetables in your backyard, you're controlling like what's going into the fertilizer. You're not spraying pesticides and Monsanto herbicides on your crops.
Mm-hmm.
They're very pure. And with the executive order and the whole Mayan 2012 thing, they're trying to take us away from our spiritual consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
because the foods that they give us, we're just talking on it briefly because we'll have a whole nother episode on this. But the foods that they sell us in the supermarkets are genetically modified,
Oh yeah.
which give off a low vibrational frequency. So when you ingest it, you're also giving off a low vibrational frequency. You're not able to pick up on the certain energies and powers that the new winter solstice and planetary alignment are
Mm-hmm.
giving off. So that's
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that I think the government is trying to do to prevent us from
Exactly.
picking up certain energies that will be given off or are currently being given off during this time.
Mm-hmm. Wow, I never even thought about that either, and that's interesting, especially around this time of the year where they encourage us to go out and eat and feast and
Or
you know,
eat foods around this time that really isn't nourishment for our soul.
mm-hmm.
Macaroni and cheese,
They're
fried
dead.
chicken, they're dead. Any white foods are
Mm-hmm.
dead.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, your sugars, your flour,
Mm-hmm.
what else?
Mm-hmm. Anything
Anything that has the absence of color is pretty much dead.
mm-hmm. Mashed potatoes. I love garlic mashed potatoes too. That is crazy. That's just.
And I think not only through like our bodies and our health are they trying to. As I was saying, any foods that most foods that have the absence of color is pretty much nutritionally dead. And I think the Obama's executive order, coupled with this new tragedy in Connecticut, Newtown,
Mm-hmm.
Connecticut, I just want to say my heart goes out to the families, and I'm in no way trying to
It
minimalize
really does.
the situation.
Such a tragic event that happened to all those kids and everything.
But I think that the government is really trying to play on America's emotions. And if anybody can
Mm-hmm.
play and toy with your emotions, they're toying with your soul, because your emotions are your soul.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the government has created a very fear-based society. And,
Mm-hmm.
even with the kid that shot up the movie theater, Columbine,
Mm-hmm.
Virginia Tech, and now, I think at this point they're probably just trying to pull rabbits out of a hat, because the biggest way to get to your heart and elicit your sympathy is through children. I think they were kindergartners, middle school kids, or
Yeah.
very bottom line they were very young kids. And I think
Mm-hmm.
even on people's Facebook statuses on the news, Obama was coming out on the TV addressing the nation, crying. And I think that's the
Mm-hmm.
biggest way you can get to people's
Mm-hmm.
hearts,
Playing on
are
their
through
emotions.
children playing with your emotions. Because
Mm-hmm.
now you see all these commercials on YouTube. Everybody hates
Mm-hmm.
the YouTube advertisements, but the biggest one now that I see is all these celebrities. I think Jamie Foxx and Beyonce talking about gun control. They're all talking about Newtown, Virginia Tech, Columbine. But why is this? Why are they trying to implement a gun ban?
And I forget which quote it is. I think it may have been Benjamin Franklin that said, "Once we sacrifice our freedoms, then once we sacrifice our security, then we sacrifice our freedom." And I think this is a key thing that's going down now that I think we're beginning to march towards, and we don't even see it.
Because I think if you put guns in the hands of people who are spiritually, physically, mentally dead, they
Mm-hmm.
pose no threat with the gun. But once you put a gun in the hands of, people who
Mm-hmm.
are spiritually enlightened, they're feeling physically well and mentally well, then you have a problem. Same thing happened with the
Mm-hmm.
Panthers when they tried to exercise their Second Amendment right to
Mm-hmm.
bear arms. When you put guns in the hands of educated people, especially educated men, educated black men, then
Exactly.
it's a problem.
Mm-hmm. But
So
when the shoe was on the other foot, and we were more of a nation of articles. It wasn't a really centralized government, and
mm-hmm,
we had the right to militias, and we had the right to really fundamentally bear arms to protect ourselves and to protect our families, or for the people in power, for them to exercise those
mm-hmm.
rights and to protect themselves and protect their families. Nothing was the matter with that, but
Because you got to realize, like, if you put a gun in the hands of an uneducated person, particularly coming from the perspective of the powers that be, who shall remain
mm-hmm.
nameless, but still they're the powers that be.
Mm-hmm.
When you put guns in the hands of, uneducated people who don't care about themselves because they've never experienced love from, their parents or their families or society, then it's no problem. It's okay, give them the guns, feed the guns into the communities because they're doing the will of the powers that be because they're killing each other.
Exactly.
And the powers that be never are traced back to the situation. But if you think about it, not only are young black males or young black females or young males and females of color armed with guns, you have to think about,
Mm-hmm.
if you watch the History Channels, you have, other people in society, non-colored people who are,
Right.
stockpiling guns in anticipation of the end of the world. So
Right.
you have, and who are also anti-government, should I
Mm-hmm.
add. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
think about those people too when the government is enacting this gun ban,
Mm-hmm.
because who is this designed for? It's not guns that kill people. It's
People that kill people.
people that kill people.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't have guns. They want to ban us from having guns. But look at how many guns the military has and the U.S.
Yeah,
government has.
I think they're prepping for something, because I just heard from somebody the other day, and once again I say I implore you to definitely do your research on your own, about the
Mm-hmm.
government buying stockpiles of guns and bullets, in preparation for something big. I don't know what they think may be going down,
A
or
mass uprising
Mhm.
due to spiritual enlightenment.
Mhm.
And also, there was this big controversy on the web where, people were taking pictures of these FEMA coffins and somewhere in Georgia, I think a little
Mhm.
outside of Atlanta. I think it was
Wow.
maybe 500,000 coffins.
Wow.
But it's like, what natural
Mm.
disasters are we preparing for? Either one, the government is creating a natural disaster through the
Mhm.
HARP program because they do have the ability to manipulate the weather patterns.
They do.
Hurricane Katrina, don't trust
They
that
do.
either. Hurricane
Hurricane
Sandy,
Sandy.
don't trust that either.
Isn't it
Hurricane,
ironic that we had a Hurricane
and
Sandy
then
and
the
a
Sandy
Sandy Hook?
shooting.
Coincidence? I don't know.